And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kayfabe Corner. I'm your host, JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens. As I said, I'm one of the rising stars of pro wrestling this week. I'm here. Wait, you disagree? I'm here with Dexter Beckett. Dexter, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Jordan. What's good, bruh?
Not much, man. How you doing? How you doing these times? Of course, weird times. Not many shows are happening. Are shows happening? I see some shows are popping up, but got nothing
Uh,
going on right now.
Nothing near me, nothing near you to my knowledge. And I think there's been some shows I think like the Midwest are doing shows potentially.
I saw there's a couple in Florida, IPW and I think Atomic are running, so there's some
Oh,
venues are letting it. So
if they know if they know what's going on, but yeah. So I wish more shows were going on, but I can understand why. I'm hoping that I'll be working a show in New Jersey in August, hopefully. It's up in the air, so we'll see how that goes. COVID depending. So
where's that at, man? Give them a plug ski. Well, what's happening there?
it's like I said, I can't even give a plug ski because I don't really know the full details. It's like a
Oh,
promotion. Hey, we're going to try to run some shows, blah, 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 blah. If you have any interest, we saw your stuff, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, sure. If, the world isn't, the way it is right now. So,
well, hopefully we're getting there, man. Hopefully, less is behind us, or who knows, man? Who knows? It's still everyone asks 10 different people, 10 different answers, kind of thing.
yeah.
Let's start off though with the journey of Dexter here. Were you a fan growing up? Even before you get into business, where do you start with the world of wrestling?
Honestly, my father, my father's told me the story a million times. He says, I plopped you in front of the television because I had to go do something else in the house, and wrestling was on, and I put you in front of it, and that's literally since my first memory is wrestling. I think, to be honest, as weird as that sounds, is professional wrestling, and I want to say it was probably something generic like, oh, Hulk Hogan was on, so I put you on television or set in front of the TV, and Hogan was on. But I think, like in my brain, I think it was Sting, and I would rather remember it that way. So,
What's wrong with Terry, brother?
oh, just his racist, slanderous mouth, stuff like that. Like,
Brother.
I mean, we all start as Hogan fans. Everybody's been a Hogan fan, but when you get old, when you're younger, you're a Hogan fan. But then when you get older, you're like, man, I look back on how business was run and how people did this and did that and how they were appreciated. And I was more of a Sting guy, so I was always a big Man Called Sting fan.
Good old Steve. Steve's a good one.
Steve,
So that answers my next question. You're a big Sting guy. Who else were you into? And were you more WWF or WCW?
I was. I mean, I guess I was more WWF only because that's what I saw the most of, and that's what my dad put on for the most part. He would make me these compilation VHS tapes because he was always living elsewhere, and I was always Florida based with my mother, and they had split when I was young. But he would always send me VHS tapes of all kinds of stuff. So I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then of course Blockbuster. I could spend hours in Blockbuster picking out like 5 tapes. Like, all right, I have to watch all these tonight just because I'm like. So it was really a toss up, but I can say that I grew up more on WWF, but I think I was more of a WCW like Crockett era kind of guy, where like the wrestling was solid and it was less animated and everything.
Which is interesting coming from you because you're a very animated cat when we see you in the ring and
Yeah.
in the entrance.
Yeah.
Let's start off the origin now of wrestling. When do you get in? How old are you? Where do you start?
Okay. I am about, okay, so fresh out of high school. I move up to West Virginia where my father and my grandfather, there's a farm and they train thoroughbred racehorses. So I moved up there to live with them. I went to this wrestling school in Hagerstown, Maryland. It was the Neil Superior Wrestling School, and the promotion was the National Wrestling League or the House of Pain Wrestling Federation. I trained there under NWA Portland wrestler. His name was John Rambo, and I was there for about 6 months. And yeah, I mean, I didn't get anywhere from it, but I learned my basics, which is important. And I never did any shows where I got paid for. I always helped with everything. I paid my dues and stuff through there. But then I also did these exhibition shows where there were like Tuesday nights and Thursday night shows for free. And they'd do these shows and they'd put you out there and you just, you just did what you learned, basically. You weren't allowed to do anything. It was like how, like, if you watch New Japan where you see all the all the young lions with the black trunks and everything. They yeah, him. And like
but not him,
it,
right?
no, I did not. No, not him. Sadly.
Oh,
Sadly.
okay, just making sure.
Oh yeah, you got the right guy. Yep, there he is, old John. I haven't seen John or talked to John in probably since 2006 or 2007. But I mean, we weren't really close or anything. It was just I was another guy giving a check or giving cash to learn how to wrestle. But yeah, like they give you your moves that you have to do. Here's your finish. You're going to win with a Boston Crab, or you're going to do this. You're going to do that. It felt like I noticed that now. It's like, all right, that's pretty much what New Japan's young lions are doing. Left there, moved back to Florida. Nothing wrestling happened then, and then I moved back to West Virginia because I float around a lot between like family down south, family up north. And then I went to CZW's Wrestling Academy in 2007. I want to say it was October 2007. It was right after the Choosing Side show, and I saw DJ Hyde and Brain Damage versus Necro Butcher and Mr. Insanity Toby Klein. So I've always been a big deathmatch fan, huge deathmatch fan since for as long as I can remember seeing a deathmatch. I mean, the first VHS deathmatch I had was the IWA King of the Death Matches from Japan, where Terry and Cactus Jack are in the finals. Spoiler, as if nobody knew that in wrestling. Yeah,
I was
sorry.
gonna watch that tonight, but whatever.
Oh, shucks. So yeah, I mean, I was a big deathmatch fan, so I was like, all right, well, I watched CZW since 2001, or actually no, 1999 when I first got on the internet. Found out about CZW because I was a fan of ECW, so I became a fan of that because of just the hardcore and the deathmatch and stuff like that. But went to wrestling school there at the academy, trained under DJ Hyde, Sabian, John Dahmer was still there at the time, and Callahan hadn't come in to help out a little bit yet because I knew he had a little bit to do. But I was under, yep, that is the show. Actually, I almost am trying to look. Oh, no, it wasn't DJ. Who was it? Choosing sides. If it was DJ versus Joker, then it had to have been. Now you got me going in circles. This is going to bother me for the rest of the night unless I look it up. It was DJ, not DJ. It was Brain Damage and someone. I could have swore it was Brain Damage and somebody versus Necro and Toby. And I'm probably right, but I just in my head, like, all right, so I'm in the front row, like I'm dead center front row, and I'm just diehard fanning it right there. I'm fanboying hard. So yeah, I went to the Wrestling Academy later that month. I drove 3.5 hours, 3 times a week from West Virginia to Philadelphia, and I'd go to school at the Wrestling Academy.
So where does it keep going from there? Because I know when do you start wrestling then, or where do you come to Florida? Like there's so much more to unearth here.
Yeah. All right. So it's no one. I mean, I have no shame in admitting this. I was a backyard wrestler. Like a lot of people were backyard wrestlers. A lot of main people that you see today were backyard wrestlers. So once I moved back to Florida again in 2008, because I was in 07 to 08 at CZW, then I moved back to Florida. I tried getting in with some promotions and just try to get. I didn't have any footage or anything. I wasn't like known. I didn't have. I wasn't Dexter Beckett. I wasn't anybody. I didn't have anything special going. So I used to backyard wrestle a lot, and I made a lot of good friends through that, and a lot of connections through that. So I didn't start working on the indies until about 2011 or 12. And didn't really get a lot of like there's no footage of it of me out there at all in like different places and stuff. But I started I would say that when I started getting a little more footage, because like every show I'd work, it would be for pennies, and then they'd never have footage out, not even online. They wouldn't even put it on YouTube or anything like that. But then I would say around 2015, I started working under the name Unreal Eddie Draven. I just liked the way it rolled off my tongue, but I didn't have like anything going for me, like character-wise, gimmick-wise. I was just me, wrestling fan, cranked to 100, and just I wrestled and I just did stuff. There was nothing special about me. It was just me doing moves and working. Like I knew how to work. It wasn't just like, all right, I took a clothesline, now what's going on? Like I've seen that a lot lately. So I did that. I did a couple shows down in Florida, and what was it? The first Wrestling Has It Tomorrow, because there's two. There was one that started in Florida, and then there was one that started in, I want to say it was like Rhode Island, where like, you know, they actually had names and workers like AR Fox, Dan Moff, JT Dunn, guys like those. I did a lot of I did most of the What shows that happened in Florida. I did a tryout show for a promotion in Pennsylvania called SWO, Susquehanna Wrestling Organization. And I knew a lot of people that wrestled there, so I went there and I did a tag match, and I think it went over really well, but then I never really got called back because they had such a big roster, so they didn't really have a spot for, oh, here's this guy, he's willing to drive himself or fly himself up to PA, because I would always have somewhere to stay, but I would want to get on the show and try to get paid and sell some merch or whatever. And then I did that again in 2017. I got the call from a buddy in Seattle, and it was the 3-2-1 Battle promotion, and they were doing a 3-2-1 Battle versus the World. So they called me in to work that show, and I was Eddie Draven, and I worked that show, and that was fun. It had, I want to say on that show, Johnny Cockstrong was there, Kikutaro was there. That was a fun show. And then I really liked 3-2-1 Battle, but then a year later comes around, and, you know, it's only been a handful of a bunch of Eddie Draven matches. And then they called me back, and they said, hey, man, we really want to bring you back, but can you please give yourself a gimmick? And I was going through some mad depression around that time, so I was just trying to think, like, man, I don't know what to do for a gimmick. I've always just been me. I didn't know what to do. I knew how to wrestle. That was the only thing I had going for me, and I knew what I was doing, and I was smart to, like, how things go, the business and everything, and I was wise. But I was listening to a lot of ska music, and I was always a big fan of Real Big Fish and Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and such. So that pulled me out of my depression, like really helped me get out of my depression in 2017. So I came up with that is my third time going to 3-2-1 Battle, and it is my second time there as Dexter Beckett, because I went there as Eddie Draven first. Didn't really matter as Eddie Draven. Came in as Dexter Beckett. They really liked it. This is my second match there. And it was a milestone for me because I'm working a bunch of decent talent on that list. Like Sonico's great. Sonico went over to Japan for a couple months. He was there for a while. Jacob Sumas, he's awesome. He's one of my closest friends there. Travis Williams is I believe he's based out of Canada. He's awesome. I really enjoy his stuff. And Caden Talbane, been friends with him for many years. He's really underrated. And then there's the
B-boy.
independent wrestling legend B-Boy. The fact that the booker was like, hey, so we're going to put you in this 6-pack, and it's got this and this. Oh, and B-Boy. And I just literally shit myself to the point where I'm like, I'm working B-Boy. This is like I don't see myself I'm not ever going to sign a contract ever. And I'm okay with that. I can live on the indies if it ever comes back, please. But I was just so blown away that they're like, oh yeah, you're going to work B-Boy. You guys like, and he's worked 3-2-1 a lot. He's a former champion. He flies in there. It's not a bad flight from Seattle to San Diego. And then he's like, hey, by the way, you and B-Boy have a lot in common. You guys talk about wrestling, talk about like past wrestling a lot all the time. And we're both big, beautiful Bobby Eaton fans. We both think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. We think he's amazing. He's great. So like I had to share, we shared a room, me and B-Boy, and we'd order Uber Eats and get pizza and then watch like classic NWA and just tear matches apart. And it was awesome. So I can say that B-Boy was like my highest level of things that I've achieved in wrestling, in my opinion. So, but yeah, that's basically been the tale. Is I've worked shows here and there in Florida, but I would say 3-2-1 Battle's been my home. I love 3-2-1 Battle. The fans are amazing there. They like if you're somebody that they can grasp onto and really enjoy. Like I come out to Real Big Fish's Take on Me, and my first time there, I was like, oh, let's see if they like the gimmick. And I only did the Dexter Beckett and I did Skatastic because ska pulled me out of a really depressing hole and it made me feel good about myself. And wrestling and ska music basically saved my life, just making me feel better about where I was in my life. And when they started singing Take On Me to me during my entrance, like I literally just wanted to put my arms down, stop, look around, and soak it in. But I was like, all right, I got to work. I can't do that right now. I'm at work. So, but yeah.
No, it's a fun clip. Yeah, no, I was watching the match earlier. So I saw B-Boy, and I was like, oh, I got to pull this one out. And then I watched the whole entrance. It's a really fun entrance here.
Thank you.
You've kind of already touched on my next question here a little bit here about past gimmicks. You mentioned Eddie Draven. Where does all the names come from? First of all, where does Eddie Draven come from? Where does the name Dexter Beckett come from? And is there any others that you've done here and there? Is there anything else you want to unearth?
I'll unearth whatever. All right, so Eddie Draven came in a weird way because I was like, all right, I need to come up with a name. And I was like, I've had too many people, because I work at my family's restaurant when I'm not wrestling. I'm a manager at a restaurant called Brass Ring Pub. I've had customers, just drunk customers, and like they know who I am because I've been serving them for so long, and they just go, oh, hey, Eddie. Like, I don't think I look like an Eddie, but it just kind of went with it. So I just was like, all right, I guess Eddie works. I can go with an Eddie thing. Draven, there's really nothing special behind it. I don't want to bullshit you, Jordan. There's nothing special behind it. It's just, all right, well, let's put some names together and what doesn't sound like hot trash. So Eddie Draven's what I went with. And Unreal because no one used that prefix really to my knowledge, except for like this guy from Canada, and no one's really heard from him in many years. I'm like, all right, Unreal Eddie Draven kind of just goes well.
Smooth.
But smooth enough, I would say. It was smooth enough. But then it didn't work. And I was told by my friend who ran the promotion of 321 was like, hey man, I love you and I want to keep bringing you back, but you need a gimmick. You need something. Dexter Beckett, I knew I wanted to do ska. I didn't know what I was going to use. And I was like, all right, how many wrestlers out there use like certain names? It's just, I guarantee you 1 million wrestlers go through this issue. I'm a fan of the TV show Dexter, but I'm not going to do the whole, what a Dexter Loomis gimmick. And I'm not going to be the serial killer of serial killers. I'm not going to do that. That's just ridiculous. And I'm not going to do that whole thing. But Dexter was a good name. I know there's one wrestler in the UK. I think he just goes by just Dexter. And then last name, I literally wrote down like 5 last names. I'm like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And I just pulled Beckett out of my ass. And like, there's no special.
Do you remember any other last names?
Dexter. What was it? There was Dexter Harris, I think was one. I mean, honestly, like a lot of the names didn't come around, and then I didn't want to do anything too generic, like I didn't want to do like a Williams or a Smith or anything like. I wanted to do something that I don't really know any wrestlers with the last name Beckett, so I just kind of put it there. Like I literally was just Chance Beckett. Yes, I remember Chance Beckett from like the ECWA era, Super era, and like I was like, all right, well, Chance Beckett. I haven't seen Chance Beckett in over 10 years, like wrestling wise. And I was like, all right, but still, I mean, if someone gives me, you brought that up because it's funny because my immediate response was like, if someone gives me shit that I have the last name Beckett, I'll be real shocked. And if they say because of Chance Beckett, I won't have an answer for that.
Yeah, like, if you go to Cage Match, there's only 4 other Becketts I can find: Burke, Chance, Sage, and Skyler, and I haven't heard of the other 3.
No, Chance is the only one I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't ripping any names off or anything like that. I was like, Dexter, only, that's a name that people can abbreviate and just say Dex, and the name worked. I wanted a name that if people actually were into me at all, they could just do like a Dex Beck, something simple that they could, like I'm hand feeding it to them, but at the same time, it's like, that's easy. Yeah. Sure. But like my backyard name was, and I cringe every time I think of my backyard name. Yeah, look at you. You're just jonesing for it. All right, so I was a big IWA Mid-South fan because when I first graduated, I got into the indies more, I would say, 05, 06, which is, I graduated in 06. I got into the indies a lot then, and IWA Mid-South was putting on some of the best matches. Like the TPIs alone are like sure. The people they put in Ted Petty Invitational was awesome. So despite like what everybody has seen and heard and stuff like that. Like, I don't know him personally. I've met the man maybe 2 times. I did go by the backyard name Henry Rotten. And people were like, oh, you're a big Ian fan. I was like,
Yeah,
I like his
Ian
bookings.
Axel.
I was like, I like his bookings, and I really like Axel. Like, I was always an Axel fan because he always seemed like a cool dude. He was really fan friendly whenever I saw him at shows and stuff. And but like, whenever anybody gives me shit, like, oh, Ian Rotten, are you gonna be like him? And I just went, Axel was cool. Axel was a cool guy. Leave me alone, you know. But yeah, I did Henry Rotten for like until I started doing just indies, which I would say, oh shit, 2015. I think I stopped yarding for good. Like, a lot of people would I'll do yard shows with my buddies just to have fun and keep myself, you know, ring rust off. And then, like, you know, I'd still do indie stuff and work the scene as I can. But yeah, I did Henry Rotten for a long time, and it was fun. And I definitely gathered some injuries from that, but you know, it was fun. I don't regret it.
What are some of your favorite matches you've had? Who have you really clicked with?
All right, favorite matches I've had. You guys put me against one of my friends, and I had a fun match with him, and we really want to work each other more, is Zach Cooper. Me and Zach Cooper have had fun times. We've wrestled at Real Pro. We've wrestled at ACW. We tried getting our matches elsewhere. Yeah, that was a good time. He has come so far in, like, from, I've known him since he was in, I want to say he was in high school, or he was fresh out of high school. I got a couple years on him just in age. But yeah, I've known Zach since before he was even working the independents, and I was happy to see that he's been doing so much with his MLW contract, and he went over to the United Kingdom, which was awesome. I went to the United Kingdom for 2 weeks, and I told him, like, yo, man, you really got to get out there. It's fun. It's a good place. They appreciate wrestling so much in the United Kingdom. And Zach Cooper is first person that comes to mind. B-Boy. I've wrestled. So the six-pack challenge you showed originally, there's another one. It's not clipped into single matches. It's a whole show. It's the Battle Rumble, because it was like the same weekend as the Royal Rumble this year. And it was the Friday before, where the opening match, and it's me, B-Boy, this guy in Seattle, in Washington, his name's the Dynamic Rook Kelly. He's really good. Jacob Sumi again. I need to do a one-on-one match with him. He's awesome. A wrestler in the United Kingdom, his name's Ashley Dunn. He's really fun. He's really good. He worked with he backyard wrestled with Will Ospreay back in the day when Ospreay used to do the backyard, and it shows working with him. It's just like the fluid motion and everything like that. He's fantastic. But yeah, like, the people that come to mind that I have really good matches with are this other guy, Florida guy. He just graduated from Full Sail University as valedictorian, which is amazing. I believe it was for like film and production. His name's Cyberpunk Ty Hill. He and I have fun matches. Me and him have worked each other 100 times, and he's so agile, and he does all these crazy flips, and he can do more than just flip, but he's so enjoyable. He worked the GCW a couple times. He worked their backyard show. He worked Tony Deppen in a match at this one venue that's in Philadelphia. I flew up there with him just to go to that show. I was so hyped for him. He's one of my best friends. I flew up there and got into the show and met everybody, tried to make my first impressions and everything like that. And I was like, oh, I'm not trying to get on the show. I just want to watch the show. But if you ever have a spot, by all means, hit me up. But yeah, Ty Hill. Yep. All the people in this match, actually, we've all wrestled each other a million times. And this is at LCCW in Eustis, Florida. And yeah, they'd bring us in every month, but they'd always put all of us in the same matches. Because, like, yeah, you guys are doing really good stuff, and you guys are really fluent with each other. Why don't you guys just keep working with each other? And we're like, yeah, sure, we'll have your really fun matches. That's no problem. sure, whatever you want, man. We'll do it. And like they'd put us in matches together, and yeah, but Ty Hill, he just graduated college, and of course with COVID going on, his mindset was he's a full-time student, he's a part-time wrestler. Now he's ready to be a full-time wrestler, but with everything, he can't even get work with what he graduated for and everything. So once COVID ends, like that guy's gonna blow up. He's awesome. Drake Xavier in that match that you just showed, he's really good. He's really fun. He's a nut. That guy is like insane fool. He'll do anything you want. He'll fall on his head just to be like, oh, you think I should head spike here? Or, should I?
Yeah, he's had me for it a couple times.
Yeah, like him. His brother used to wrestle as well, and I wish he was still wrestling. His name was Ace Alexander.
He's retired how many times now?
Yeah. I don't have enough numbers in my head to think how many times he's retired. Chris, I don't know if he goes by this name anymore, but he went by Chris Living God. I really enjoyed working him. He changes so much. Like, I remember him just not knowing what he was doing, and he was training, but then he's come so far with how, like, he's gotten a lot more submission based, but now he's trying to do more death matches, which I'm really excited to do, because I in the me being Dexter Beckett, it's you don't see that guy like, oh, he won't do death matches. He's not a death match guy. I'm all for it. I have no issue with doing a death match. I keep telling promotions to do death matches. I'm like, I don't know.
Have you had one yet?
Huh?
Have you had one?
Not on the independents yet, sadly.
I might help you change that. We might change that.
I mean, by all means, man. I can still be me, but I do death matches. I'm creative enough where I can come up with things in death matches. And anybody that'll tell you that does death matches, like they're fun. Like Ty Hill, he'll do death matches. Drake Xavier, he'll do death matches. Chris Living God or Combat Chris, it's one of the two that he goes by now. He'll do death matches. Like they're fun. They're really creative. There's the risk of getting hurt, but if you take care of each other, you're fine. I don't need to explain that to you. You know people that do death matches. What, Zach Monstar?
We've had a couple of crazy ones with, Zach, Alex Ocean, of course, Raven Havoc, Bud Heavy.
I love Alex Ocean. I've been waiting to – Alex and I have been friends for probably 2 years now. We both like death matches. We get along with each other really well. We talk wrestling. We want to work each other so bad. We want to do death matches with each other. Like, he does No Peace, and I remember I was like, hey, man, I'm not trying to get on the show or piggyback on you, but I'll ride up with you, because he lives a little bit south of me, so he'd have to pass me to get there. My immediate mindset is, I'll ride with you. I'll chip in for gas or whatever. I just want to go and make face and be at the show and just hang out. I'd love to do that. I've made friends, and the other thing is, like, from my experiences, especially when I trained at CZW, deathmatch guys are the nicest people. Like, they were the coolest people. Their egos aren't out of control or anything like that. Like, I know that he's been getting a little bit of guff, especially when he got, because I think he got diagnosed as sick, but Necro Butcher back in the day, like, I mean, I haven't talked to Necro Butcher in years, but as a student at the CZW Wrestling Academy at the time, and I was driving the 3.5 hours to school, which is insane to think, the money that I was going through in gas and the miles on my car just for school. Not like I could have gone back to that place that I was at in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is like 20 miles away. No. I got to go 3.5 hours. I got to go to CZW. At the time, it was when they were doing the wrestlers. So, like, Necro was getting that money. Necro was working ROH. He was working CZW. He was probably working all kinds of promotions. But Necro was nice enough to put me up in a hotel one night. It was the coolest. It was probably the coolest thing that a rookie, like a trainee, could have ever gotten, just because I would talk to him about his death matches and stuff and talk about this, that, as a wrestling fan. We talk about horror movies and stuff. And he was like, you got to head back to WV? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm tired, but, I'll tough through it, and I'll pull over and sleep, whatever. And he goes, no, man, and he got me a hotel room because he was making that Hollywood money. So I was like, oh, damn, that's super cool. I mean, like, but in general, like, deathmatch guys are the nicest guys. Drake Younger, nice guy, obviously, like, positive mental attitude. Referees now. Danny Havoc, super nice guy. Toby Klein was super nice to me. Necro Butcher was amazing to me. Trying to think. Nate Webb, good God. Spider Nate Webb is one of the coolest dudes I have ever met. G-Raver in GCW. G-Raver is one of the most down-to-earth dudes I've ever met in my life. He is super cool. We've known each other maybe 2 years, 3 years, but like he's so cool. It sucks what happened to his arm in that match at the ladder and the light tubes, and that was rough. I had a lot of friends in that match. I was really excited. I was like, I'm just going to watch this show just for this match because there's a bunch of good matches on the card. They had Effie versus Nick Gage, which was really gnarly and awesome. Nick Gage, amazing human being. Amazing human being. But I remember, but that match, I just was so bummed because G-Raver got hurt, and Jimmy Lloyd's a really nice guy. Alex Zane is the nicest human on this earth.
You worked with him recently, didn't you? Or you were?
I have worked Alex Zane recently. He was one of my more recent matches. Like January was my last match that I had in. It was in Seattle with B-Boy and all those people I mentioned. I worked Alex Zane last year. I felt this never happens to me because I'm not a star. I'm not a big indie star that's getting booked every weekend. But one weekend, I think it was September or August, I can't remember, of last year, I got triple booked. And I didn't really I got booked in a promotion in Tennessee where I was going to work Alex Zane in a one-on-one singles match. And I was like, well, Alex Zane and I have been friends for years. He's blowing up right now. It probably isn't a bad idea for me to try to do this match with Alex Zane. And I already had plane tickets and everything set up. And I was waiting to hear back from somewhere else, like just trying to get my name out there, just trying to ride with anybody to go to shows in Florida. I got booked to work Punk Pro, and it was a double shot. It was Punk Pro and Ignite, I want to say. And I had to contact them saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to make the show. I'm booked in Tennessee. I'm sorry. I really, really, really wish that the shows didn't cross because I feel like I really would have connected with Punk Pro fans with just the ska music and the dancing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like I get told by Zach Cooper and a bunch of people like, yo, you need to get to Punk Pro. You need to get to Punk Pro. You need to get to Punk Pro. I've talked to Aaron Epic and he says, oh, you got to yeah, man, you got to come to Ignite, et cetera, et cetera. I was feeling like, man, things are moving now, man. I'm really happy about this. People like the gimmick. It's working. It's basically me just trying to live my life and be happy. And like every time I've ever done the entrance, people seem to enjoy it and enjoy me as long as I, get my do little things here and there. But I wrestled Alex Zane, and the saddest part about that was that we got to the show, the venue, the ring's not set up. The show starts in like an hour. We're like, what's going on here? The ring's there. No one's setting it up. Me and Alex Zane and one other human being set up the ring. Then me and Alex went back and planned a match. And then we were the first match too. Like, it's just some Tennessee promotion with like, Alex was like the name, like the draw on the show. Nobody else there was like, oh man, there he is, the guy. Alex was the draw. And I was like, all right, well, let's have a good match. And me and Alex went out first, which I'm fine with going first. I'm not worried about that. I just want to go out there and have the best match I possibly can. And with Alex, it was too easy to do. They really enjoyed our stuff. And then we did our thing and we went to the back, and at least 3 people just looked at us and goes, yeah, why don't you leave a little bit of the emotion for the rest of us instead of going out there and killing it. I'm like, it's a hot opener. The guy recommended, he said, hey, you got this amount of time. We went like a minute under. Go out and do anything you want. Burn the house down. I'm like, all right, cool. Awesome. Me and Zane did that. And then everyone's like, oh, well, you're a dick. Okay, sorry.
I'm still curious about the ring. Like, what happened there? Like,
we built. It just wasn't done. Like, everybody was around there, like, with their thumb up their ass, trying to like set up like they weren't even setting up chairs. Like, all right, the ring's in there, and then everybody's just kind of talking to like their opponents about the matches, like going over stuff. And I'm just like, I was staying with Alex because it was in Tennessee, and Alex is a Kentucky-based guy. So I flew in and I stayed with Alex for a couple days, and then we drove there, which was like 2-3 hours, something like that. And Alex and I basically planned the match in the car, but then we went over it a bunch of times in the back. We tweaked it here and there. So no one set the freaking ring up except me, Alex, and like one other person. And we did it, set the ring up. And then we tried selling merch after, like, during the rest of the show. The person who runs the promotion, like, he wrestles as well. He was in a body bag match, is what it was labeled as. It went like 45 minutes, man. Like, I get it. You're the guy who runs the promotion. You know, as long as you want. And he wasn't even the main. And he went 45 minutes. And we're sitting there just like at the merch table because Alex and I are both faces, and we're just like, I don't know what I'm looking at right now, like, at all. And then after the main event, we're like, all right, well, I guess we'll pack our stuff up and leave. And as we're walking out to go to his car, the guy who did the 45-minute body bag match is like, what, man, you're not going to help take the ring down or take any chairs down? And I just went, I set up your ring. I showed up on time. You're not paying me, apparently, because they didn't have enough money to pay the venue, let alone their wrestlers. Me, who flew from Florida to wrestle in Tennessee. Alex, who drove 3 hours and probably gave up a better, well-paid booking with trans and good pay and probably on a promotion that would have been posted on like IWTV or something like that, or High Spots, something along those lines, just to wrestle me, his friend of like 12 years. We didn't get paid. We sold some merch, and they were upset that we wouldn't help take the ring down after we put their ring up.
So when do you plan on returning?
Yeah. You see it the next show. And also, that match hasn't even been released. They released the main event of that show and then a promo for the next show, which I don't even think they've even had. So it was like, I shot myself in the foot to go wrestle someone who's blowing up in the world right now, who's one of my closest friends, to not wrestle for Ignite and Punk Pro, which I don't regret not going, because I got to wrestle Zane, and he's just one of my best friends. But I feel like I missed the boat there, where I was like, oh, if I.
Oh, hindsight, the original idea was well intended. Just you never know.
Yeah, man. Like I don't know. I've talked to the people in charge for both places. I'm like, hey, I really want to apologize again. It's just this came first, and I had to stay committed to the previous booking, and I didn't know it was going to coincide with these bookings, and like, I actually felt like I was like, oh man, people want to book me. This is awesome. This was what it feel like to be an independent wrestler, because people want me at shows. This sounds awesome. But lo and behold, wrestling hasn't returned to its former glory, so I can't really complain.
Oh, hopefully we're getting there, man. Well, we're talking about some good matches that you have had. Who are you? Who's on your wish list? Like realistically, too, on the independents.
Realistically, like I'm not gonna just like throw out big indie stars and be like, oh
no, well,
yeah.
you go. Give me both. I'm just saying, don't give me like
right.
Edge. Like I'm saying, like like something that could actually feasibly happen.
Main eventing WrestleMania with Edge sounds fun.
Yeah. If I could.
No, realistically, I live in Florida. He lives in Florida. It's a big if and a big maybe, like a huge probably not, but like I was always influenced by Eddie Kingston. Like as soon as I became an indie fan, I drew into Eddie Kingston immediately. And I just love his ideologies. I love the way he works. No one touches him on a freaking mic. Like the man is real. And I love Eddie Kingston. I've met him a handful of times as just a fan. I wasn't even a wrestler at the time. But I would love to wrestle Eddie Kingston. That's a huge goal for me. I was told I was at the GCW Backyard show because I was with Zane and Deppin and all those friends, all those guys who I'm friends with.
I watched that recently.
I was there. Yeah, I was at the Backyard show. And I was told, because I showed Brett Lauderdale my yard stuff, and I was talking to Deppin and G-Raver and Jimmy Lloyd and all those guys, and they're like, they weren't. It's not me. I'm not burying this person, but it was just the fact that I think, who did Nick Gage work? He worked Dale Patrick's, I think, and he got hit in the ass with a light tube and stuff. I'm like, oh man, that's gross but cool. But it was different. And I had a couple people just go, you should have wrestled Gage, and I was like, I'd love to wrestle Nick Gage. I'd love to get beat. I would let Nick Gage lay it in on me and give me all of this. I would love to work Nick Gage. Ricky Shane Page is another one I'd love to work. Alex Ocean is on there. Besides that, he's my friend. I'd love to work Alex Ocean. G Raver, if he ever wrestles again when he gets back from his injury. Zach Cooper and I have wrestled a couple times, but I would love to do more with Zach. Realistically, I'm trying to think of people that aren't just in Florida. Like Nick Gage isn't, but like I was gonna say Effie. I'd love to work Effie because he was work death matches, but he's also fun to just work and chat. Like his work's awesome to watch. I mean, I'd like to work Tony Deppen again. I wrestled him many years ago, and he was fun. I don't know. I mean, I try to keep I try to keep it real instead of like, man, I really wish I could wrestle so-and-so. I'd rather, wrestle something more realistic. Like I always try to compare myself to like, who could I have a good clash of styles with wrestling? Like that, it's stuff I think about when I'm not too busy, I'd like to just work more.
That's always the goal, isn't it? Just in general,
that's
anyone.
the goal.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Any goals, any long-term plans? Is it just about wrestling? Where would you like to see yourself?
Honest and true, I love being an independent professional wrestler. It's basically like growing up as a kid, you think, oh, I just want to be a pro wrestler because that's what I was as a child. I just wanted to be a pro wrestler. And you have those dreams about being contracted. As a 32-year-old man, I can realistically tell you, I just want to be involved in the professional wrestling business. If I could have a job that I'm set for life in the pro wrestling business. Now, it doesn't even have to be an independent. Like I don't even have to be a wrestler. Like if I could be a ring crew guy, help set the ring up for like AEW, and that's my job. Okay, awesome. I could work for a professional wrestling company, make a living off of it, and make that my job, and just be in the business. I'd be super happy. I don't see myself as soon as wrestling comes back because of COVID and everything. I like to see myself wrestling more. I'd like to see myself traveling more. Before COVID happened, I was supposed to be brought out to Seattle more. Like I have friends out there, but they were paying me and they were going to let me sell my merch. And there are other promotions like Without a Cause, ECCW, 5cc, which is like a 5-sided wrestling ring that they have. I haven't worked there, but like I've talked to all these companies and promotions, and I really like the Pacific Northwest has been really good to me. Like I'm a Florida guy. I'm a Florida, born and raised Florida boy from Palm Beach. I am so accepted and like loved, and just I feel it every time I go to the Pacific Northwest. I would love to just be able to be working. Like I would just love to be one of those guys. I don't have to be a superstar. I just want to be one of those guys that like, oh, we think you're worth having on our show once a month and doing rounds. Like I would love to be like, sounds corny, but like I wish I could work that territory era like loop where it's like, oh, I got to go work in the Carolinas this week, or I got to go work at a 321 in Seattle. I got a booking in Seattle because they run every 2 weeks normally. I'll go every couple months or something. I'd like to get steady work, but the goal is just to be in professional wrestling because it's been my first everything basically.
Very nice. It's a good, honest goal. When wrestling comes back, and it will come back, it'll come back strong, I'm sure. I know it's kind of a broad question, but what are you hoping to see when wrestling comes back? Is there any hopes of yours just for as a landscape, or any even pet peeves? What would you like to see changed? Give me something about pro wrestling that you want to see in the future as a whole.
Just more variety. Like, I mean, don't fix it if it ain't broken yet, but I would love to see more variety with the fact that when the fans come back, which I'm really excited for when fans can start coming back. I'm excited to see more reactions, like, cause I mean, they've had like wrestling with the wrestlers around the ring, which I'm fine with cause it gives you a little more of an atmosphere. And I bet that makes the workers feel a lot better. But I'm excited to see how that is a very stretched question, and I'm giving you a very stretched answer. It feels like.
Well, it's a stretched question, so it's an appropriate response.
I just want the world to go back to normal, man. I just want wrestling to be. I just want it to be what it was. I want it to be better if it can be, but I just want wrestling back, man. I just want to I want to have an option if I'm sitting at home on a Wednesday night. Can I watch this or can I watch that? Oh, I can go back and forth. Oh, this is more fun to watch, but oh, this match is coming up, so I want to watch that. Like I like that. I want to see more variety of people. I want everyone to make money. I want everybody to thrive. I don't want there to be bullshit things where it's like, I can't work for this company because this company has beef with this company. Like, I wish the independents would just be all one big united front where if I'm working here, so-and-so's hyped for me and they want me to bring me in and maybe we'll do that match there. I just want everyone to make money. And I want everyone to be successful, but this isn't a perfect world. And I know that's what we live in, is not a perfect world, but I have to keep my head that way, because if I don't know what'll happen. So I just got to try to stay positive about it. I just want everyone to be successful.
No, man, that was kind of one of those things I was getting at. Like, I like what you said, no beef between companies here. Like, I've never held anyone against working for somewhere else. I want to see you busy. I want to see you so busy to where I can't book you because you're too expensive or you're somewhere else in another country. Like, I hope that for everyone, man. So,
Same. I mean, it would be so nice. It'd be so nice. Like, hey, man, can you work this show? Sorry, I can't. I'm working B-Boy again. I would love to be able to say that. I'd love to say, yeah, man, I'd like to work that show, but I got to work B-Boy again this night. Or, hey, why don't we bring in B-Boy and we'll do this stuff here? Or like, oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. I had a guy one time, he was like, dude, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to get booked at House of Hardcore. I got to take it. I'm like, of course you got to take it. I would no-show the show for House of Hardcore.
Oh, my God. 100. Like, that'd be crazy. Like, I'm trying to remember. I think there was a show. I'm trying to remember where it was. It was some promotion in Tennessee. It was, Resolute. It was Resolute Wrestling in Tennessee. And I was supposed to work Zach. But Zach got a much better booking. And I don't hold it against him because it was PWX in the Carolinas. So I was like,
sure.
Man, go for it. Do it.
Yeah.
I didn't hold anything against him. I was more hyped for him. Did I lose out on a booking? Yeah, but I wasn't too worried about it. It's a long drive to Tennessee, and they weren't going to have anything for me because I wasn't going to. Zach and I were each other's opponents. We were bringing each other. But yeah, I just in a perfect world, in a perfect world.
In a perfect world, man, and all we can do is strive to get there. Maybe someday. Maybe not our lifetime, but maybe someone else's lifetime will get there.
Yeah.
Any parting words? Anything else you want to say for the boys and girls there watching at home?
Be nice to each other. Just be better humans to each other. Don't bash something you hate. Love something you love. Like, if you dislike something, just keep that shit to yourself. If you don't like it, just write it down in a piece of paper. Like, man, I really don't like this. But you know what? Like, be good to each other, please. Because the way we're at right now in this world, we need more positivity. We need more people looking out for people. We need everybody looking out for everybody. We need everyone to just work together, man. That's all I can say is that, and that I really miss professional wrestling. I miss going to shows with friends. Yes, Jordan, yes. I miss traveling to shows. I miss meeting new people. I miss making connections. I miss talking shop in the back with people. I don't know. I miss the brotherhood. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the big fraternity, the whole thing that we all are. And just keep your eye on the horizon, man. The world's got to come back sooner or later, and just take care of everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other. Did I just quote Jerry Springer? I think I just quoted Jerry Springer.
You ended on some Springer stuff there. Yeah, well, hey, it's a nice quote, though. It never fit the show because the show was like, all right, you hate her, we'll talk and fight. But it was a nice quote. No, man, really, yeah, I love the first sentiment you said here. Love what you love, and you know what? If you don't like something, it's very easy to click away. You don't need a comment. It's very easy to just open up something else in your browser, flip the channel.
There's a million things to watch. A million things to watch, especially even wrestling.
Yeah.
With what we have today, with IWTV, with High Spots, with Smart Mark Video, with all of it. YouTube, whatever, like all of it. There's a million things you can watch.
And damn you kids, it's so cheap now, $9.99 a month. Back in my day, it was $15, $20 for one disc.
It's sickening. But yeah, just enjoy what we have. Don't bash. It's like, fucking so-and-so's on the show again. All right, but who else is on the show that you like? Oh, that person.
Yeah.
Just enjoy wrestling, man. Wrestling's for everybody.
Absolutely. Wrestling is for everyone, all creeds and kinds, man. If you're a good person, come on in. Wrestling will accept you. And
For
if you're not,
real.
get out.
Yeah. If you're an ignorant bigot and an asshole and you just want to hang out at a wrestling show, get the fuck out.
Yeah, the door is always right there, man. Well, where can people reach you, man? If someone's inclined to be like, oh, I love Dexter Beckett as a fan or as a booker, can anyone find a place to reach you?
Oh, 100%. Let me think out loud here because it's so awesome to be able to plug things in wrestling again.
Unreal Eddie Draven at Twitter.
Shut up, dude. Never even made anything for Eddie Draven. Never, not a Twitter account.
Hardcore Henry Run at Instagram.
Yeah, because he had an Instagram. Let me tell you. You can find me on Twitter at DexBecks, DexBecks. You can, if you're looking to book me and you want me on your show, you can go to bookdexbecks@gmail.com. That's my Twitter. That's my email for booking. On my Instagram, I'm pretty sure I have an Instagram for wrestling as well. It's just Skatastic Dex Becks, which is, I know it sounds weird to spell, but it's Ska, Skatastic.
Yeah, I figured what you meant. Yeah, Skatastic.
It's pretty, yeah, Skatastic. You know how many times I hear people say, what's Skatastic? What's a Skatastic?
Okay.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe if you're reading it, yeah.
Yeah. And then I got a like page on the Facebook machine. I think it's the Skatastic Dexter Beckett. And that's basically how you can reach out or find me. And just look me up on YouTube. I'm on there. You got a couple real pro matches on there. You got yourself a couple 3-2-1s. You got yourself a couple one revolt. You got some stuff. It's not a lot of stuff, but I'm on there. You can find me. If I'm interesting, let me know. I don't know.
And if anyone finds any Henry Rotten videos, send them my way. I haven't found any yet.
Just swallow, just take it with a grain of salt, that Henry Rotten stuff, man. Just,
Well, my man, it was a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully I'll see you soon here when Real Pro starts up. We'll have you back there, man. We'll have some fun. When that is, I don't know. Hopefully soon. We're supposed to have 6th anniversary in August. I'm hoping we can still maybe pull that off.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Cool.
That's when you debuted. Was it the anniversary show? Might have been.
I don't think it was an anniversary show. I mean,
no? Oh,
you booked me, but you booked me, so you tell me.
It was Cooper. That's why I'm thinking Cooper was in the anniversary right before.
Cooper was probably there.
That's why.
That makes more sense.
And then that's when he was like, "Let me come back." And then he was like, "I got this guy named Dexter." I'm like, "Dexter? I don't know." Oh no, you froze. I might have lost him, but if I did, it's a good time to lose him because I think we're at the end of the show.
Oh, am I still there?
Whoa.
Ooh.
You scared me. Okay, you're back.
I remember sitting at I want to say it was either a NXT or it was a live event. It was either an ROH show or an NXT show in West Palm Beach. And he told me he sent you a message, or he sent you a clip of me. And I think it was the first match with B-Boy, or maybe it was the other 6-pack. I can't remember what match it was. It was either me and the Whisper and all those guys, or me and B-Boy and all those guys. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to send this to Jordan." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Well, I mean, you can give him my info and you can get to me or whatever, man." I'm not big on piggybacking, but Zach is always he's always tried to help me. So it was nice. But yeah,
man, to a large degree, that's what wrestling is, man. Just it's connections, you know what I mean? I mean,
yes.
Nick Abrams, who became our champion, was a guy that just Trey Parker was like, "Hey, I got this guy named Nick." You know, you just never know. You know, same thing with you now.
I was at that show.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was at that show. Yeah, I think I worked a six-man tag in that show. I remember that.
Yeah,
I think was it with Sideshow?
I'm sure it's on.
I'm pretty sure it was him and Sideshow in the main. I think.
Oh, that's possible. That sounds quite possible.
Just trying to remember. My memory's pretty good. Yeah.
That was a fun match too. I think what was it? You and were you fighting Tech maybe?
I love the guys from Tech.
Yeah.
I've been friends with them for a very long time. I've worked security a lot for Ronin Pro down here in the Miami-ish, Fort Lauderdale-ish area. It was Tech and Sammy C versus myself, John X Machina, who is one of my closest friends, and Nick Grayson. I believe it was Nick Grayson. I could be wrong. I believe it was Nick Grayson.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I was very thankful because I was like, I got there, and I didn't know what my match was going to be, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to work Tech," and I was like, "That's a walk in the park. This is awesome." Tech and I've worked Tech. They're awesome. I love working those guys. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun show.
There we go. Okay. I found it. I'm trying to pull it up, see where you are.
I thought you were saying you were pulling up Henry Rotten match. I was like, oh, don't you dare.
No, can I find those? Where are those at?
Oh, come on. You know where those are. The YouTube machine, probably. Yeah, that's the match. That's the match.
There's that lovely scruffy fella.
Oh, God, I needed a haircut so bad in that match. I remember there was like a good chunk of people, and right by the entranceway, they were all about me, and I was really thankful for it. Oh, working Sammy's fun. Sammy's fun to work.
Oh, he's mean to you right there, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a receipt on him. I can't remember. Boy. Look at Sammy. Man, me and Mike Monroe have hit each other so damn hard. Like all the times I've wrestled Mike, we hit each other so hard. It's like unnecessary. Like, we don't need to do it.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah. Oh, look at me, Dusty Rhodesing. I'm just such a. Oh. I'm a fat white guy in Florida wrestling. Yeah, man, I can do Dusty stuff. Yeah, this was fun. I felt like that match went so long though.
The video is it's 25 entrances. Not too bad.
Well, a six-man tag with entrances, 25.
And outro, a little bit of outro.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, I don't know who's still watching, so we'll sign off now. We're just going down memory lane here.
Sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes that's fun. Sometimes people just need that. But
sometimes it warms the cockles of the heart, you know. All right, so I think I already asked, but any real last words now?
Just be good to each other, man. Just everyone needs to be better, and we all need to be better for each other. Take care of each other.
Absolutely. We heard from the man himself, Dexter Beckett, for JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens. Thanks for checking out some Kayfabe Corner commentary here. And as always, keep it Kayfabe. And we love you more than you'll ever know.